Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, I have dubbed him Most Improved Pro Bodybuilder of 2022, all the way from Reno, Nevada. Please welcome the Predator, Tonio Burton. What's up, Tonio?
Hi, man. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. Congratulations on, I'd say it's your first pro win, but it's your first open pro win. You won a 212 show last year in Indy. So you're a two-time pro champion already. You're soon to be a two-time Olympian. You were at the Olympia last year, 10th place as a 212. You're coming back as an open this year. But yeah, man, before we get into your background, I didn't realize you'd done all these shows this season because I didn't go to the Cal Pro. I didn't go to Orlando. I was at Chicago. I saw you take a very, very close second to Antoine Vaillant.
Yeah.
And man, we talked at that show. And at that point, you were talking about shutting it down for the year, which I thought was a good idea. I thought, well, he needs like a whole year to come to make improvements and this and that. Well, lo and behold, what was that, July?
Yeah, no,
August? I think it was August.
yeah, it might have been, or it might have been July.
Okay, well, basically you needed like 2 or 3 months. You didn't need a full year. Dude, the way you showed up at Legion, if you had showed up at, I don't know if you would have beat Hassan, maybe I think you would have beat, no offense, Antoine. I think you would have beat Antoine looking like that. You beat Justin Rodriguez, who's no joke. Man, the improvements. So I guess that's my first question is, what made you decide to keep going this season? And thank goodness you did.
Actually, so after Chicago, I had a lot of people telling me, stop, like just take a break, grow, take your off season. But then Antoine actually DM'd me, and he said, "Dude, you have the size." He goes, "You look just as big as we did up there. Keep going." He's like, "Just come in condition, keep going." So after he said that, I hit up my coach, and I was like, "Let's push for a Legion. Let's do one more." And we dialed in, and it worked.
Wow. So you looked bigger. You looked a lot bigger to me at Legion. Maybe it was the condition. What was like the difference in what you weighed at the spring and summer shows versus the Legion?
I know going in Cal peak week, I was probably just above 220.
Okay.
So by the time show day got there, I was probably around 215, 216. So nothing too crazy. But now Legion, we were 228, 230.
Wow. Holy
yeah.
Crap. Wow.
Much more full.
Yeah. So yeah, people would think, you would have needed a year, you would have needed a long off season. How did you manage to make those kind of improvements in such a short amount of time? Because everybody who saw it, when you walked out on stage, it was like lights out, there's your winner, it's a rarity at a show where you see that happen, where as soon as the guys walk out, it's not even a question like, okay, well, there's your winner. Now let's talk about second and third and fourth.
Yeah, we honestly, we didn't change anything different. He gave me more protein than what he usually gives, but it was no major changes to anything. When I was an amateur and I was getting ready for USA's, we grew into the show. So we know we grow into shows. And that's what he said he wanted to do for this one in the work. So
yeah. This is Team Court. Mike Courtney is your coach, correct?
Yes.
Gotta give this guy credit because I never heard of him, but he's doing a hell of a job with you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Courtney, Team Courtney Coaching. So yeah, I saw your acceptance speech, and you said some moving things. You wish your brother was still around. So I don't know your background. It's finally time we found out, because you won 2019 USA light heavy. I saw the results, didn't pay much attention. I didn't really know who you were until last year when you won Indy, and I still don't know a whole lot about you. I know that Chris Menace, when we talked, we did an interview before the show. He said he was sort of the one that urged you to start competing. But give me a bit of your background. What was it? What kind of things were you into as a kid in Reno? Was it a tough upbringing? Did you play sports? Just tell me about your background.
Yeah. So growing up in Reno, I stayed with my uncle for a while, and he's the one who got me into playing football. So he was actually my coach all through Pop Warner football, and I played with my little cousin, and we were actually a great football team too. We went to multiple championships. We got third in the nation when we were playing Pop Warner football. Yeah, and from there, getting into middle school, still playing football. Going to school, football, had good head on my shoulders. But once I got in high school, I got to that age where I thought I was, that adult. And I kind of got away from, the whole sports thing. I didn't like it. I didn't want to play football. Didn't want to do sports. But the family that I have, it was because they seen I was good at it.
Yeah.
So it was always, nah, you're going to play. And all I want is my house, or all I want is my car, or, and then even when we played high school football, we had people telling us that they're betting on us. So, we better do this. Oh yeah, it was extreme to where our football games in high school, it was the stands were full and they had to block off the track because the track would get covered up.
Wow.
So yeah, it was crazy. But then after high school, or during high school, I had new friends, getting more gang affiliated. And that's when I was really like, oh, I'm done with football. I'd rather go this route. So I was getting into a lot of trouble, fighting, and chasing girls. So both my boys were actually born right when I graduated, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't go off to college. My mom got sick to where I was driving her to the hospital or to the doctor so she could do dialysis, which was another reason why I missed out on, scholarship that I had for football to, make sure her health was right. And when I was out of high school, I was just super gang affiliated at that point. Seen things, shouldn't seen, done things, whatever. And then I seen my little brother is now following in these same steps now. And my older cousins, older sisters, they're all gang affiliated. So now my brother was getting into it, and I had left to Feather River College for football. Because I was like, I had both my boys, it's time to pursue something different. I don't want to let them down. So I went after football, but when I came back, now I'm hearing my brother's breaking and entering. He's fighting, he's, playing with weapons and all that. And it wasn't too long after where he ended up getting gunned down by his own gang.
God, I'm sorry, dude.
And around that frame, when I was doing football and, I was getting big, he would brag about it to his friends. Oh, you see my brother now. This is what he's doing, this is that. And it actually made him want to get into boxing. So he started, going that route. But he didn't have the support he should have had with people pushing him, telling him to keep doing that he's great. It was always doubt. And I think that's another reason why he chose to stay with, the gang life. And after he did, my best friend ended up passing away to the same type of violence, and he was gunned down. And so I stayed out of Reno. I stayed away from my family. I just stayed away from everyone because I started losing people, And then because shortly after that, another friend was, shot down downtown in Reno. So I was like, I'm never going back. Like, I'm done with it all. And I talked to my older brother and my mom, and they pushed me to continue to, go the route I was going with, whether it was football or bodybuilding, because it was something that they loved to see. So I stayed the course, and I do everything I do for my, my nieces, my nephews. They love seeing it. My older brother, or younger brother, he would have loved seeing it. So this is bodybuilding. It's saved me from what I was doing, and it saves the family as well.
Wow. So how old are your boys now?
12 and 13.
Oh, okay. Were they at the show?
Yeah, my oldest was.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, man, imagine seeing your dad looking like that.
Yeah, I go to a school sometimes, talk to the other kids who have similar childhoods as well. Yeah. And when his friends first see me, they didn't believe it. There's no way that's your dad.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I assume you started weight training for football, not for bodybuilding?
Right. I was doing football, and then my lady actually sent me in the gym, and she was like, "Are you competing in this show coming up?" I'm like, "No, I just work out." And then she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "What show is it?" And she goes, "The Motherload," which was by Chris Menes.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's do it. So at this point, we were probably like 3-4 weeks out. Yeah. We were 4 weeks out. And because we ended up all going to Santa Cruz, and I see them all with their meal prep, and I'm like, well, can we go to the store? And I buy like just oatmeal, or I get a little bit of chicken and top ramen noodles, or, just something to feed myself. And we come back, we do the show. and I probably prepped for it for 3 weeks. If that, I ended up winning overall. And then Chris sent me to Canada for my first national show, and I had no idea what any of this meant. And I ended up getting third. I was mad. I was like, I lost this show. I don't know why.
He told me about that, and I'm confused. What national show was in Canada? Because you're an American.
It's the Vancouver Pro Amateur Show.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I ended up getting third that show.
Did you do? I'm sorry. Did you do it in 2019? The year Hadi Chupan won the pro?
I did it 2018.
Oh, 2018. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did Motherlode in May, and then that one in June or July. In July. So I ended up getting third, and at this point, I still don't have a coach. I'm just like eating whatever I want.
How did you know? How did you know how to eat, how to pose? How did you know what the hell you're supposed to do?
I didn't. I YouTube posing, and so I got third. I came back, and Chris was like, "Yo, you can't do any more local shows." Now I think I did something. So I'm like, "Wow, what did I do?" He was like, "Dude, you just did your second show, which was a national show, and got third." And I'm like, what does that mean? National because it's in Canada? I don't know. And then everyone's like, dude, you almost got your pro card.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, okay. Then I take a time off to just keep lifting or whatever. And then I did Samson Showdown in Vegas. I won his overall. He paid for me to go USA's. Oh, wow. Well, in between that time, I was walking into the gym with my lady, and my coach seen me. And he was like, hey, bro, he goes, you look good, but let me help you get nationals, dude. And he goes, I see the potential you have. You don't even have to pay me. He was like, just let me help you. Yeah. And years before that, his wife would always tell me to compete, but I always told her no. So at this time, I'm like, all right, you know what, let's do it. So with 6 weeks, the 6 weeks I had left, he helped me. And we came to the USA's, and that's when I turned pro.
Wow. Yeah, you know, it's funny because you remind me of something that I say all the time. There's like two people that compete. There's people that were really meant to do it, and maybe they had no interest in it, or somebody had to talk them into it. And then there's the rest of us who probably shouldn't be competing. I mean, we're not genetically blessed, but without those people, there wouldn't be any contest, because you need a lot of people competing. But is that the first time? Did you really until then have no idea how good you were?
Yeah, I didn't, even after. So when I turned pro, nobody really talked about how good I was. But they talked about how good my glutes looked. There was like memes going around of like Patrick from SpongeBob, doing something with his butt, and they were tagging me in it.
Patrick's the starfish, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I have really good glutes, I guess. But
wow.
No, I didn't think any of what's happening would have happened. It was always, you have the potential to be a great bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And we were planning to do New York the following year, but that was when COVID and all that was going on. So they moved it, but I was just like, you know what, I'll just take this year to grow. Yeah. So take the year off, and we go into India. And as we're prepping for India, coming in peak week, I'm like 217, couple of days out. Yeah. My coach was like, we got to cut weight. So he's like, no carbs, but nothing's changing. I'm getting in the sauna. From that Wednesday to check-ins on Friday, I was in the sauna. Yeah, and Friday morning, I was still too heavy. So we fasted from Thursday night to Friday, 6 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, to make weight.
You must have been like feeling like a zombie. If I can't.
I didn't want to compete the next day. I was like, I'm done. I didn't want to eat anything. I just wanted to like lay down.
Yeah. Jeez.
And it was rough. And then we ended up doing great at that show, winning it.
Yeah.
We get ready for Olympia, and it's the same thing again. I actually missed weigh-ins. I had to come back. So I had to go get in the sauna, go back to make weight. And the crazy part is I was sitting in the sauna for 45 minutes, 50 minutes before starting to sweat. Yeah.
That's probably medically not a good sign.
Yeah, I was like, something's not right.
Something's
I was
not
like
right.
walking out the sauna. People were like, or my lady was like, you're going to make it. It's okay. Like, we made it. I'm ready to cry. Like, it was bad.
So, I mean, you know, top 10 at your first Olympia. You won your first pro show as a 212. You cracked the top 10 at the 212 Olympia, which, you know, most 212 pros never, ever see that in their entire careers. But it sounds like you knew pretty early on that was your last 212 show. You were not meant to be a 212.
Right.
going through that twice in 1 year must have been like, is that what is the second experience at the Olympia where you decided I'm not doing this again?
Yeah, it was. So when that happened, even in the summer, I remember calling my coach, like talking to him, and he's talking me through it because I'm having this mental breakdown. Like, if I wasn't in the sauna, you would have seen tears. I swear. But after Olympia, I talked to, I forget what judges it was, but I was using the bathroom and he comes in because I'm talking to my coach, and he goes, "How you looked at night? If you looked like that in the morning, prejudging would have been different." And my coach, he was like, "Mother," and I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Dude, like your size, the sauna's killing this. We're fighting the scale as well." And so I'm like, "All right." And then we talked to Sandy, and she was like, "I want to see you bigger." And I kind of like looked at her like confused, like, did you hear what happened about making weight? And she was like, "We want to see you bigger. We want to see your back bigger because we know it can." And I told my coach, and he was like, "She just kicked you out of 212. So you're already too big." So
Man. Yeah, and it was,
so that's when like 212.
so it was quite a Legion Sports for 2021 because we had, you were making your open debut. Sean Clarita made his open debut. So let's see, the top four, you were fourth. So the top four was Sean at 170 pounds. Then it was Sergio or Regan? Sergio was second.
Regan.
Regan was second. He was like 260. Sergio was like 280, I think. And then you were in fourth. So you were 212 at the Olympia. What'd you end up weighing 2 weeks later at Legion?
We were 217, I believe.
Yeah, but what a difference. Did you feel physically a lot better? Did you feel like things were popping?
That was probably that show I probably had the most energy I've ever had all year.
Wow.
Finally being able to eat and not worry about the scale. But it also because of the big names that were there.
Yeah.
Because at first it was just we seen Stanimal that he had filled out his contract early. And that's who we all the only person we knew were doing it. So my coach was like, "Well, we're gonna do Legion, and this will let us know if we should go open or if we should, dial down to 212." And once I signed my contract, you hear all these names coming. You hear about Sean Roden,
Sean Clarita. Not Sean Roden.
No, Cedric. Sorry,
Cedric. Yeah, that's right. Cedric was in that show too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so Cedric jumps in, Patrick Moore jumps in, Sergio, Regan, Sean. I was just like, well, I wish I would have known this before signing the contract.
Yeah, but it's a good thing you didn't, right? I mean,
right.
I just asked you, I wasn't there. I wish I had been there to see Clarita win that. Were you shocked that, first of all, that Sean was in the show, and second of all, that he beat these guys who had, almost 100 pounds on them?
I mean, yeah, I was actually, because I remember at Olympia, I had some people telling me, "Man, you lost to the little guy. How did the little guy beat you?" And I'm like, "Dude, stand next to that little guy in person. You'll see."
Little guy.
Yeah. I was like, I've never seen muscle look like that. But we get to Legion, and you could tell the open guys were looking at us, not worried. Yeah. And when we got first call out, because I'm top of the competitors list, so I get my name called first, and then there's Sean. And I remember fist bumping was like, and they said 212 couldn't do it. Because I remember someone was talking mess saying if you lose to someone who's 100 pounds lighter than you, then I'll quit or something like that.
Sergio said
okay, I was like, I forget who it was. I was like, but I let you know, like, the doubt was there.
Wow. And that show sparked another debate about, do we even need the 212 class anymore? Because if you guys are good enough to be doing so well in the open, why do we need a lighter weight division? And we saw even Legion didn't have a 212 this year. Arnold dropped the 212 division a couple of years ago from their shows. I'm curious I want to hear from you, someone who was a 212 and now you're a really good open competitor. Do you think the 212 division should exist? Or do we just have it like the old days where it was just all pros up on stage together?
I think they should get rid of 212. It's a cool division, especially for someone who wants to compete early. But someone who wants to be that great competitor where they don't have to fight a scale and add as much muscle as they possibly can, then I definitely think they should go open. It's much more intense and competitive as well. So I definitely think they should cut the 212, and then that actually gives out more prize money for everyone else as well.
Right. Yeah. So Legion, man, the only big name that I saw that was my favorite going into the show, no offense, just because he's done so well, is Justin Rodriguez. He's been top 10 of the Olympia a couple times, been top 5 at the Arnold a few times. He won the Indy Open last year. He's very, very good when he's 100%. This was not 100% right. Justin. I don't know. It's, you know, if he had a couple things going on in the midsection, he was having trouble controlling it. Condition wasn't there, but going into the show, I'm sure you knew he was going to be there next to you. Was it a concern? Were you worried about this guy?
Oh yeah. So when I did Chicago and I was getting ready for Legion, I remember seeing Justin's post, and I'm like, yo, this dude's in pretty good shape for someone, you know, this far out from going to Olympia. So I knew I put it on the radar. You know, I told my coach, like, I think Justin's gonna jump in. And on one of my posts, someone was like, "Oh, you're going to kill Legion." I was like, "Yeah," and I know I tagged Justin and Steve Kukla, and I tagged them both. And I was like, I think they will be there. Yeah. Just to put it out there and find out. And you know, Steve was like, "No, I'm worried about getting, you know, starting my family." Yeah. And Justin never said anything about it. Yeah. So then that's when I was like, he's doing it. Yeah. So told my coach, and he was like, "Well, all we can do is bring the best shoe, and that's all we're going to focus on." Yeah. So I did use that to, you know, be able to push harder. And anytime I felt lazy, tired, or couldn't get the extra rep, it was like, well, I'll miss this rep, but we'll do a whole nother set. So I was pushing crazy through. And then even when cardio came, I would do 45 minutes fasted cardio on a bike. And then I would walk my dog around my apartment complex, which was like probably another 30, 40 minutes. Then I'll work out and do another hour fasted on stairs. Oof. Oh, yeah. I was taking that Your Kratom. They were at Legion.
Kratom. What, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, and there's a pre-workout they have called 45. And I would drink half of that, and cardio felt like a breeze. Like that 45 minutes felt like 30 minutes. It was cake. But so yeah, we went after that condition because there's no way.
I hope they're sponsoring you. You just gave them a great plug. I hope that company's sponsoring you.
Oh, I got some shirts of theirs in the closet right now.
Right, good.
So yeah, they are.
Okay, good. I just want to talk about your back for a minute, because you put up a post like a week before Legion. It was a video on Instagram, like a reels of the back poses, and you had a good back before, but you took your back to like it's like a cobra back now. It's like, you know, I put it up in the top, I don't know, 5 of all the open bodybuilders right now.
Nice.
Someone's going to get mad at me in the comments. Oh, well. But man,
yeah.
It reminds me so much of like Dexter, the way it just swoops out with a little tiny waist. And I mean, everyone's their own person. But if you're going to be compared to some people, Dexter's not a bad guy to be compared to. I see similarities with the physique in a lot of ways. Have you been hearing that too?
Oh, yeah. Since what? I want to say Indy is when I started hearing Dexter. And Dexter is one of my favorites. So here and I'm like, yeah, you're right.
I mean, like I said, man, the structure, the shape, I'm trying to pick your physique apart, and it's hard to do, man. It's hard to do. Maybe a little more upper chest, maybe this tiny little things, but I can't believe how good you got so quickly. That's why I say I can't give you rookie of the year. That's going to go to Andrew Jack. We all know that.
Yeah.
But most improved, dude, you got it wrapped up. I don't see anybody even close right now. But let's talk about Legion, because one thing I watched it on the live stream, and props to Chris Minnis, top-notch live stream, top-notch, multiple cameras, beautiful, crisp picture. I've seen some crappy live streams this year, but the one thing that really stood out, because we were watching it in a group, the MD coverage team, and man, the confidence, you know, you never stopped smiling. You had that aura of a winner, that presence. Did you feel, you know, and I actually heard Danny Hester and Whitney Jones on their pay-per-view saying, you know, Danny says, when you know that you brought it, you know, you really nailed it. It's just such a great feeling. You're just bursting with confidence. Is that what we were seeing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. On top of me enjoying, you know, the sport, you know, being on stage is the fun part. Yeah. And that's what everyone comes to see. So of course I'm going to show that how much I enjoy it, but the confidence was definitely there. Every time I went on stage and I walk off, my coach was backstage and he's like, dude, this is crazy. Like, you never look like this. So that's exciting right there. Yeah. And my coach doesn't give compliments too much. So to hear him do that, I'm like, oh, this has to be great. And like every couple of hours, we'll eat a few rice cakes and we'll go pose, do it again, go pose, just to keep everything moving, and we'll relax it as much as we can. And those little changes helped out so much. And then being on stage, you know, you have to, I saw before the show, Peak Week, I actually hung out and talked to Justin for a little bit, so I got to pick his brain. I seen Jamie a few times and was picking his brain. So it was just like, I'm on stage with friends. I'm competing with, you know, best friends. So, which was another, you know, reason why I had that smile on my face as well.
Yeah.
But just seeing how we looked, I didn't expect that. And I remember seeing myself that morning, and I was like, I've never even seen these lines I have right now. So,
yeah, I mean, it's so hard. People don't understand that. People, you know, when we critique, you know, he was flat, he was smooth, this or that. You know, I always try to impress upon people. It's very, very difficult to get that balance between fullness and condition. It's almost impossible.
right.
And especially you have this narrow window of time when you have to look perfect on stage, and you nailed it. But another thing I want to ask you is, it was in your hometown. Did it mean more to you to win this show, you know, where it all started for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Leading into this show after Olympia last year, all year all I'm hearing is, you know, you're the hometown hero. You're that guy. Like, I go to the grocery store, people are stopping me, talking to me. We know who you are. Kids want to take pictures, going to schools, talking to kids. So just having a hometown hero image, I felt like I had a lot to, you know, prove and to fight for. And I looked at it like, as I can let someone come into our town and take our trophy, or I can go represent and keep it here.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds? Because who else is from Reno? I mean, I don't know any other pros from Reno.
Nah.
No.
There's Bo Worley.
Yeah.
He's a men's physique guy. Then you have Boyana, who's here in Reno.
Boyana, yeah.
Hope Harper, she's another one. And Shalace Shoemaker.
Okay, so it's mostly women, because Vegas, obviously, everyone's in freaking Vegas now. Vegas,
right?
Like the Mecca.
Dragons there. That's where to be.
Dragon, I got to check that place out. I'll be there in a couple of weeks. But what I want to ask you, the only thing I know about Reno was I used to watch a show on Comedy Central called Reno 911. I'm curious if you ever watched that, and did people in Reno like that show, or was it like an embarrassment?
No, so that show is actually in Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I think no one here had a issue with it about it. We actually watched it too, so some episodes were actually really good.
They didn't even film it in Reno?
No, it wasn't filmed in Reno.
I hate that shit. Like I'm in Boston. I hate when a movie's supposed to be in Massachusetts, and I look in the credits, it was filmed in like Vancouver or something. Like, how dare you? But so what are we, 8 weeks? So we're talking, everyone, just so I'm being completely open, we're talking on the 14th. It's a Friday. How many weeks out now? Are we 8 weeks, 9 weeks?
Yeah, I believe we're 8 weeks, coming into 8 weeks.
Yeah. So, you know, with most people, I'd say, oh no, it's this poor guy. He's done too many shows this season. His body's going to break down on him. No, but I'm not worried about you, because I've seen you at every show and you're just getting better and better. It's hard to imagine that you can hold the peak from Legion 9 weeks and look as good or better at the Olympia, but I have every confidence in you and your coach that you can do it. So what's the game plan? Is there a little break in the prep for like a week or two, or do you just keep rolling through?
No, so he actually gave me a couple of days to be human and enjoy food. But he sent me my meal plan. I went and got everything yesterday. Yeah. So we're back in it now. Obviously, when it comes to like your supplements and, you know, all that, yeah, I did take a break from that. Right now, my only supplements are NAC and multivitamins and omegas.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's a long year, man. It's a long year. People don't understand. That's a lot of shows. So this would be your 1, 2, 3, 4. The Olympia will be your 5th show of the season. Is that right?
This show this year, yeah.
And the first one was the Cal. Was that June?
Yeah. No, yeah. No, May.
May. Wow. So yeah. May to December. That's, let me do some math. 7 months. Woof.
Yeah. And we still somehow put on size. I don't know.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, the Open Olympia, it's a whole, it's such an exciting show. We got the 212 champ from last year is not even going to Derek. He's going to be there with you. Man, you got new guys like yourself, Andrew, Blessing, Samson, and of
Mhm.
course you got, the old guard, Rami, Curry, Hadi, Bonac. Good Lord, Ian's gonna be. It's gonna be. This is people are talking. This is gonna be the best Mr. Olympia in a very, very long time. You must be stoked to be in this particular Olympia.
Oh yeah, just and the reason why is because what you said to all the names that are in there now as well. And I think when it comes to physiques, I have a similar physique to a few of those people that are, jumping in there who people actually see doing very well. So this year, it'll be fun to be a part of that. Next year, I'm coming to take over. So,
Yeah. And I mean, it's back in Vegas for the first time since 2019.
oh yeah,
Which is can you drive? I don't know the geography of Nevada. How far away are you from Vegas?
from Vegas is about 6 hours.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeez, all right, never mind.
Yeah.
Will you drive or will you fly?
Nah, we'll probably end up flying because flying is like 30 minutes, 35, 45 minutes.
Wow. Well, you just educated me on Nevada. It's bigger than I thought it was. I should look at a map sometime. Yeah. Did you know the largest landowner in Nevada is the U.S. government? They own like 80% of your state.
Really?
Yeah. It was all like missile. They were always like setting off nuclear weapons and shit back in the 50s and 60s. But
you actually see that's on the way to Vegas where all that goes down to. So,
you know what I meant to ask you earlier on is you were the mutant up until a couple months ago on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Now you're the predator. So what happened there?
So it was funny. Because from 212, it was the predator of 212, but my name was on there was the mutant. But I think Dave Palumbo started that. And then coming out, everyone would say things like, "Oh no, the mutant is Tonio," or "No, the mutant is Nick Walker," and it's like, here we go. And then Jamie had the mutant giant.
He's a giant.
And then somebody was like, "Dude, go back to the predator when you were 212, but now for open." It's like you're knocking out these open guys. You can't use giant killer. He's like, so go with the predator open. Yeah. So I put a poll on Instagram. Everybody was like, predator.
Well, I mean, mutant is Nick. I always think of Nick because he's had that name for a couple of years. And predator, maybe if you grew your hair longer, it'd be even more like predator, like the predator from the movies. But I think predator is a very cool nickname. Kai tried to get that nickname going years ago. I don't think it ever really caught on for Kai. Predator.
I was like, it's easier with social media.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really need a nickname anyway, did he?
No, Kai was good enough.
Yeah, Kai Green. That's all you need to know. So, man, I'm excited for you for this Olympia. I'm excited for your first pro win, and like I said, it's so cool to see someone who I thought it was going to take you a year, 2, maybe 3 years to get to the point where you're at now. Because that's typically when I see people, it's a haul. Because they'll take time off and they'll disappear. And I'm glad that you made it happen quickly and that you didn't take off and disappear because, you're still a young guy, but you never know. You tear a pack, you never know when your career is going to be in any professional sport when your time is done. So guys who skip the Olympia, guys who take entire years off, I'm like, I don't know, dude, because sometimes they never come back. So yeah, so you're keeping this momentum going, which I think is perfect strategy with you and your coach.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just feel like anyone who like does a taking time off and walking away, I would kind of look at it like them doubting themselves and giving up on what they set out to do. Like last year, we said we're going to Olympia, and we did it. This year, I don't see myself not doing Olympia, and we're going to make it happen. And we seen that points were close, and then I was like, they're close, or I'm high up, but the points aren't close. And then I was like, I want to, go for a win anyway. And a name is a name. We're all human. Like we all have to put time in. So I don't let, a big name discourage me. Is more so, oh, this is my push right here. It's time to go even harder. But I mean, as long as you're confident in yourself and you practice what you preach, I mean, you can do great things.
Yeah,
so
and, your win actually was another good reason I'm glad you won. Is it reinforced that the judges are really doing their job of judging what's in front of them. You hear going into the show, even after the judging, I was hearing people on the chat saying they're going to give it to Justin just so they can make sure he gets the Olympia. They want to make sure Justin's in the Olympia. I'm like, I don't think the judges do crap like that very often anymore. In the old days, trust me, it was shady as it was very shady back in the day. Some terrible stuff used to go down, but the judges now, it's a lot more fair. You know, in the old days, they would have given it to Justin just to get in the Olympia, but they did the right thing. I was actually worried. I was like, if they give it to Justin, and believe me, I love Justin's physique, but on that day, that was not the winning physique. Your physique was. I was like, they better not give it to him. Tonio better win. And thank God, judges, they did the right thing, and here you are. So yeah, congratulations, man. It all turned out the way it was supposed to. And you know, you couldn't be denied. It was just one of those shows where there's your winner. And let's start talking about second, third, fourth, fifth. So it's exciting. It's kind of, in a way, it's kind of boring sometimes if you see the same guy win over and over again. But with you, this is your first open win. It was like, wow, you had arrived. It was a brand new version of your physique. I know I just saw you in Chicago not that long ago, and it's not like you're a completely different human being, but the look you brought, I was like, wow. I was impressed with you in Chicago, but I wasn't like, oh my God. But when you came out of Legion, I was like, this guy. So, and you know, you're only going to get better because, you know, I assume, here's a weird question. Do you think you need to be much bigger than this? Or do you think you're pretty close to where you need to be?
I think we're close, but me personally, I want to be bigger. I want stage weight to be at least, you know, at 230, 235 mark.
Okay.
But pushing past that, I don't want to be, you know, 270 off season, 250 on stage or anything like that. Yeah. I like go back and do research, like how big was Phil Heath on stage or Dexter Jackson? You know, then I'm like, oh wait, these guys weren't, you know, 250 or anything. They were, you know, 230, 235, 240 even. So I'm like, okay, that's my sweet spot. I'll get there. I'm still comfortable. That'll be perfect. And you know, what was I saying? I just said my mind.
Well, I mean, you made a good point there because are you about the same height as Dexter?
Yeah.
I mean, Dexter won the Olympia at probably about 230, 235, I'm thinking. So you're not far off, and you have very, very similar proportions and everything. You know, people are going to say you're hyping this guy up way too early. He's not that. Trust me, I've seen a lot of physiques over the years. You know, I agree with you. I think you need a little bit more size to really start pushing these top guys, but you're not far off. You're not far off from where you need to be right now.
Right. And I mean, we did Olympia last year, or Legion was the last show we did last year in October.
Yeah.
So from October to May, I was already 12 to 15 pounds heavier.
Wow.
So I know another year or another couple of months off of growing, I can definitely put on the size. So not, you know, it's just something we plan on doing it slow, but I react to everything fast.
Yeah, that's great, man. Nothing to complain about. You know, it's like I said, we see a lot of the same guys over and over and over again, and they're damn good. Don't get me wrong, but they don't look. Once you get to a certain point, they're not going to get much better because everyone eventually gets to that limit, and this is as good as they're ever going to be. And you know, you're still changing every time we see you, which you know that the fans love that because it's new. People love new things all the time. So,
right.
You know, Rami's only been Mr. Olympia twice, and people are already like, we need a new Mr. Olympia. That's how it is. Trust me. People always want something.
If he like posted more, or like throughout the year, if he posted more and like showed his face more, if people would, you know.
Well, I think I need to give Dennis James most of the credit because there's been a ton of posts the past couple months, but that's because he's with Dennis, and I think Dennis is helping him out. Because I think not everyone's like an attention whore. Not everybody wants to be filming and posting and doing all this, but that's the game now. This is 2022. Unfortunately, you can't just be a great athlete. You have to be this social media presence too. It's just the way it is.
Right.
So yeah, man, congratulations on the win. Really looking forward to seeing your Olympia debut. And man, I'm just happy for you because I love seeing hardworking people, especially when I know you've overcome some adversities and you've been through, you overcome some really, really tough stuff in your life already. So, you know, I'm rooting for you, and I know a ton of people out there rooting for you too, Tonio.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.
Cool. All right. Well, let's tell everyone your Instagram. We'll flash on the screen. Is it Tonio _?
Yes.
The Predator. And there's another underscore probably?
Yeah.
Burton. You'll probably find it Tonio, guys. Another thing, I hear people calling you Antonio. I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, people do it and gets to the point where I'm just like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me late for dinner. So man, congratulations one more time. And yeah, this has been a hell of a season. It's not over yet. You got more in store for us at the Mr. Olympia contest right there in Las Vegas in 8 weeks from now. Wow, it's coming right up. So,
oh yeah, and we're definitely gonna bring something different.
yeah, looking forward to it, man. So that's it, guys. You can check Tonio out one more time this year on the Mr. Olympia stage. This is a brand new, exciting open champion, Legion Sports Fest champ, and can't wait to see what you got in store for us. So everybody, please, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, leave some comments in there. We love your feedback. And that's it. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with the Predator, Tonio Burton. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.